Welcome back to our Minnesota Hiking Club series, where we're hiking every trail in the book, one stamp at a time. And today we're going to be hiking the Gitchi Gummi Trail at Gooseberry Falls State Park. And we've hiked a lot of trails together, and every now and then we find one that's interesting, even if it's not our favorite. Although there are some surprises along the way. There's a stone wall built like a castle. There's a sculpture from the old bridge that once stood here. There's tons and tons of wildflowers and woods. And there's even a fascinating story about how the waterfalls collapsed more than once. How many waterfalls do you know that collapse? It's not the most thrilling hike we've done, but there is a story here and some real beauty too. Lake views, peaceful woods, as I mentioned, wildflowers. And once you know what to look for, it does get more and more interesting. So come on as we hike the Gitchi Gummi Trail. The trailhead starts in the parking lot and does wind past the visitor center with a quick peek at the waterfall, although at the end we'll make sure to get down there and get a really good look at the waterfall, so stay tuned for that. The trail's around 2.5 miles long, or 4 kilometers. It's a loop trail with sort of a lollipop there at the end. Elevation gain, not too bad, about 150 to 200 feet or 45 to 60 meters. It is rated moderate because it's a little bit technical at certain parts. Packed dirt with a little bit of rock, some uneven footings. It has some beautiful Lake Superior overlooks. It has a really cool Castle Rock retaining wall built by the CCC. As you know, we're super fans of the CCC here. It has a sculpture from the old bridge that used to be there, and it overlooks the Gooseberry River Valley and the Upper Falls. You're going to see lots of wildflowers in the spring and summer, and they say it's a quieter trail in terms of traffic, like foot traffic, but you do hear a lot of road noise while you're hiking on the trail. All right, let's start ascending our way up. Here, you could choose to go left or right. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos, we tend to go left. It's not a hard and fast rule. This is where the lollipop loop starts. I thought this shelter was one of the coolest things I've seen. We don't have these a lot where I'm from on the AT. I mean, the AT has them, but on your state park hikes, you're not going to find a shelter. So if somebody wants to explain to me, new to Minnesota transplant, are these for snow? Are these for people to camp in? So yeah, break down what the trail shelter is used for on these state park trails. I'd love to know. I really love how lush and green the forest looks in the summertime when it's fully grown in. And one thing about Minnesota that's been great is the wildflowers. There's still so many of them blooming. It's awesome. Some of the younger trees are actually protected so they don't get eaten by the deer and the rabbits and other critters, so that the forest canopy can grow in thick. And if anyone knows what this plant is, I've never seen it before, so I'd love to know. And here, yeah, a whole section being protected from the critters. Here's the deal. This is part of why this wasn't our favorite trail. You spend a lot of time sort of walking in the exposed sun, no shade, no canopy.
Because we walked up a drainage ditch. Now it feels like we're walking down a drainage ditch.
Exactly. It doesn't feel like a trail through the woods. It does for sure feel like you are walking up and down a water flow, sort of runoff type drain. Here's where the surprises come in though. Just when the sun is really starting to kick in, just when your feet are starting to feel technical, if you look in the middle of your screen, that's Lake Superior in the distance. And you pop out of these woods and are wowed with some epic cliff views, 180 degrees, very beautiful, and very dangerous. You want to make sure you watch your footing at the edge here. There is no guardrail. There are no signs. You want to make sure you stay on terra firma. Don't go too far. But it is so beautiful when you get to this part of the trail. As we come up on these epic, sweeping Lake Superior views, this is a great time to define, what does Gitchi Gummi mean? Gitchi Gummi, sometimes spelled Gitchi Gummi, is an anglicized version of the Ojibwe word Gitchi Gummi, which means big water or great sea. And it refers specifically to Lake Superior. So Gitchi is great or big, and Gummi means water or lake. And what a perfect way to describe Lake Superior, and these amazing views that you'll get once you get to this portion of the hiking club trail. You do want to exercise extreme caution when you're getting close to the edge here. You're going to see me using a very long selfie stick to film, but there are no guardrails and there is a lot of slippery gravel, so make sure to exercise extreme caution when you're hiking on this trail. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled because you got to make sure to find that hiking club password. It may or may not be somewhere close. Oh, hey, wait a minute. I'll never share. Never ever. Mom's the word. Make sure to keep those hiking passwords a secret. We want to make sure everyone actually hikes the trail.
Bird sounds like a video game.
Message me if you have any trouble finding them. I'll be glad to help point you in the right direction.
I love these elevated boardwalks though.
Quick bug, mosquito, tick update. We didn't really see a lot. We didn't have any ticks after the trail. Your mileage may vary. There are some portions where you're definitely going to rub up against some tall grass, so make sure to keep an eye out for ticks and wear any insect repellent as needed. And just like that, we're back at the beginning of the lollipop, so no matter which way you go, you're going to end up back here. Let's go check out the waterfall before we end this video. This waterfall is not technically part of the Gitchi Gummi Trail, but there's a little spur trail we passed at the beginning. So yeah, let's go check out the Gooseberry Falls. There is an official trail to check this out. So if you want to come here and just do the waterfall trail or do the hiking club trail and the waterfall trail, please stay out of the water. It is dangerous. Gooseberry Falls is actually an evolving waterfall. It's always changing because the river flows over layers of basalt, and over time the water undercuts the softer rock beneath, and then you add in the harsh freeze-thaw cycles, and eventually parts of it just fall off. In 2004, a big chunk of the middle falls collapsed, and the shape of the waterfall changed overnight. You can actually still see the boulders below. So it's really neat. The slow process, but the falls are technically alive and always shifting. And speaking of shifting, we're going to shift out of here. That's it for the Gitchi Gummi Trail. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye, y'all.